arts talk radio, stretching around the globe with topics on different systems, styles, schools, fighters, workouts, the best gear, nutrition, guest speakers, and more. We're talking martial arts radio.
So we're back, and we kind of touched on Bruce a little bit and his impact. Let's introduce the world. Why don't you introduce the world to your guru, your Sifu, the inspiration?
Okay. And we'll get that straight. We talked about titles.
Okay.
His title to me would be Sigan.
Sigan.
Right.
Okay.
Because I didn't formally get instruction from him.
Okay.
He is the creator of my system.
Okay.
Okay. So his title would be Sigan, which is creator. Now to Guru Dan Anasano, he would be Sifu to him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Because he was his
Direct.
former direct instructor.
Okay.
Right. I'm just blessed enough to be on the lineage.
Well, he's Sigan to me too. Then.
Well, my thing for Bruce started in 1973.
Okay.
With Seeing Enter the Dragon. And, I remember after Seeing Enter the Dragon, I came home and for about, I guess I was hard-headed, man, because for about a month, I was getting towed up every day by my mom because she couldn't keep a broom in the house. I get the broom and I cut him up and put eye bolts in it, and I went out to the dog and he had a choke chain. I got the choke chain and we got some vice grips and popped the chain. And, and we got nunchucks, man, and we walking around with knots upside our heads and stuff and everything. We're tearing stuff up. But we were on the Bruce Lee regime.
Yeah.
There was nothing like it. We'd never
seen the movie.
Yeah. We'd never seen anybody, bring such life, to the fight. With the kind of
right?
Exactly, and the charisma he had behind it, and it just made you want to reach out for it.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, and then unbeknown to us then when we saw Enter the Dragon, he had already passed. He never really got to see the whole effect of it itself.
Right.
As I'm told, he saw. I believe, if I'm saying this right now, I don't want to put that out there wrong, but I was speaking to Miss Linda Lee, Bruce's wife, who's Miss Linda Lee Cardwell now. And I believe they were saying he saw excerpts of it, but he never saw the whole thing really put together, But that night, he sparked a flash, across the world, and gave us all a new insight on martial art, And again, for me, it started just a whole nother world.
Not to mention diversity, too. He opened the door for everybody.
Everybody, exactly,
yeah.
For everybody. So, I did the same spectrum. From there, I trying to find something right away. I went into a Taekwondo class and a karate class.
Mm-hmm.
And of course we were Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Trying to put ourselves together.
Yeah.
But it wasn't on down the line until 1986. I met a gentleman by the name of Raymond Crow in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and that was teaching Jeet Kune Do. And at the time, the martial arts store everybody went to was Sosa's Martial Arts over in South Dallas, over in East Grand. That was the Mecca. That's where you went and got everything.
Mm.
And Mr. Sosa, who was there, who was also a great in Aikido, a fantastic Aikido teacher, and I had to stop and give him his props for that because he's gone now too. But so many people have come my way and have passed on information, and again, I think it's a blessing because they didn't have to, and they saw enough of me to take the time. But he cracked me up because he was in Aikido so much, and I learned not to shake hands with him.
Why is that?
He greets you to shake hands, and you put that hand out there, and he grabbed that hand, and you was going across the room. And he'd get me every time, and he'd smile at me and laugh and say, still ain't caught that heavy. So, but like I said, so they introduced me. They're the first one who told me about Mr. Crow, about Raymond Crow, who later became Sifu Crow to me, became my instructor. And Sifu Crow had studied under Guru Dan Anasano in California. Okay, and I think he was out there like in the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they told me that it was funny because when I first went and met Sifu Crow, Sifu Larry Hartzell, who's the original Bruce Lee student, also was giving a seminar that day. So when I came in there, he tells me, he says, well, Larry Hartzell's in here. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And he's looking at me like, da-da-da. Larry Hartzell's in here. You're not hearing me.
Anyway, talk about the, okay, whatever.
What the? So
he got to meet this guy now.
Unbeknownst to him, I was dumbfounded. I didn't know who Larry Hartzell was.
Yeah.
But later on, I did find out he became one of my Sufus also.
Yeah.
And who was a very fantastic fighter. He taught me a lot about JKD grappling. One of the biggest things he did, and I'm sure he's done some other things, but one of the finest things I think about, can you imagine he was Mr. T's bodyguard?
Mr. T needs a bodyguard.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
Clubber
why I'm
Lane?
Yes.
Clubber Lane need a
Lane.
bodyguard.
Clubber Lane.
But I thought Mr. T was a bodyguard. You know what I'm saying?
I think at one time, I think Hollywood got to him.
Yeah.
We got a little fat on us.
No.
I'm not talking about Mr. T.
I pity the fool.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't wake up in the newspaper no more.
Yeah, yeah.
But so in the aspect of this though, as Bruce came in, you know, you talked about how innovative he was and how he opened the doors for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I look at his students, the ones I've been blessed to be around, and I think he gave them a wonderful gift because each of these people know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once you know who you are, you're not concerned about what people say to you, what they call you, or whatever, because you're content in who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have a strength in that.
Nothing to prove.
Exactly.
Nothing
Exactly.
to prove, yeah.
You know, and I've seen them try to convey information to people, and I've seen people, you know, talk really harshly to them about it. You know, and they didn't get up and say, "Look, this is the will, son, and you learn how to get on it," you know, or something like that. They, you know, they're like, "Well, okay, you know, well, if this is not good for you, I hope you know find something that is, you know, and go on."
Because they have a piece about them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, that's how I want to be.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be like that. I want to know who I am.
I mean, you don't
and
talk to me
just
like
walk
that,
in peace,
though.
but that's because I don't like you, though.
Oh.
But but yeah, I want to be like them. You know?
When I ask you a question, I get knocked out. I mean, bam, that's your answer.
Are you telling on me?
I mean, can the world see it?
You got me on freeze point. You got me on
Go
freeze
ahead.
point. You're crazy. But no, yeah, but seriously, each of these individuals are just phenomenal because again, he gave them this gift. He gave them themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, people say, well, for instance, well, what art do you take? You say, well, I take karate or I take taekwondo, what have you. But I say that to you just to give you a reference to kind of give me a shelf.
Right.
But what I'm really doing is once I go to this art, it's a separate entity. But once I get in here, this art becomes me.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, you ask me, what am I doing? I'm doing myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm building me. And at the end of the day, I'm not building an art. I'm building me. You know? And so that's kind of like where the JKD thing came from because actually Bruce wasn't building an art. He was building himself. Okay? And he just made it innovative to make us all look out at other spectrums of the martial art world and look and say, well, let's say Western boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we know it's boxing, it's punching.
Mm-hmm.
So you need that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I said, okay, that's my top fight going in. Okay, so I got my punches are down. Okay, but okay, what's a good kick?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want to look around the spectrum. Do I want to hit you with a round kick, a side kick, you know, or a teep or a snap, what have you?
Right.
But a tie kick is a punishing, devastating kick, as we found out.
Don't
through Anderson Silver. I hate to say it. I hate to say it because you know, I got love for him. I hate to say it.
Too soon.
But we saw what he did when he got blocked by that shield.
Yeah.
You know, but everybody uses that. So and tapping into the UFC and them putting fights together. If you remember when the UFC came in, it was no discipline.
Yeah.
You know, it was just everybody coming as you
anybody
are.
can.
You know, and think how it's kind of whittled down to more jujitsu-ist. You know,
little tie,
and then they said, okay, we got the ground thing, but we need punch.
Kick.
So again, we go to boxing.
Right.
Okay, we need a devastating kick.
Right.
Then with the Thai boxing, okay, it's a punishing kick.
Right.
Okay, so in this, that's what you're looking at when you're building yourself. I'm looking at, okay, what's the best punch I can do? You know, what does that? Okay, who has the best kick? You know, what's my best entry? So each time I'm looking to build me. And if I have to look at this system and say, well, you know what, Thai boxing has, you know, great attributes, knees, elbows, headbutts, you know, and I look at another art, we'll talk about Silat. I don't know if people know a lot about that, but Silat has a lot of sweeps and body offsets, you know,
angles,
leverages, you know, take you down to take little or nothing, you know, to do. So, you know, in the midst of everything, you're building yourself and you're not building one system anymore. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not bad to say that I just like Taekwondo, and that's what I just decided to be in, and that's what I want to do. There's nothing wrong with that, because the beauty is that you're an art.
Well, you know, I was going to tell you, you know, well, I guess I'll tell the fans that, you know, we were talking earlier today about, you know, which is the best system. But, you know, for me, I feel like the best system is what works best for you.
Exactly.
You know, your
You're the
body
best
type,
system.
your energy.
You become the best system.
Right, because Bruce Lee, like you saying, his whole focus was not to, well, while building himself up, he gave people the freedom to build themselves up. You know, because what works for you may not work for me, and vice versa.
True that.
So
True that.
help
True
them
that.
find themselves and find the system. Because you know what, I mean, I want to go to UC. You know, Taekwondo may be great for me. I may just want to be able to grapple to survive at work, you know, if I'm a police officer, so grappling may be best for me. You know, just different things to suit my lifestyle and my needs is what works best for me. So, you know, but if you want to go to the next level, if you want to be a fighter, you know, like Bruce Lee said, well, baby, you better train everything.
That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
You better train everything.
That's right.
So, you know, I feel like, you know, I think that the UFC is kind of, it helps expose some different martial arts, but it also kind of took away from the art itself, because the whole purpose that, you know, for me, Bruce Lee was trying to do was teach people to find themselves, build themselves up, and that's the way. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick, fellas, we get some reaction on Twitter to what you guys are talking about, and at 24 Upper Echelon has a question: who would win, Muhammad Ali versus Bruce Lee?
You know, that's a good question. You know, it's funny because
Muhammad had weight.
People didn't know that Bruce Lee was an avid Ali fan. The footwork, the rope-a-dope. If you notice, Bruce's footwork came in because you know Wing Chun didn't have rope-a-dope footwork, 1, 2, 3 shuffles or what have you.
Right.
Okay. The punching. You know, Bruce was so innovative. Guru Ranasano was telling us a story about him being so innovative that back then in that day that, you know, they only had Super 8. And he'd have Muhammad Ali on Super 8 film. And he would show it onto a camera in front of him and put a mirror on the side of it.
You better explain for us young people what the heck.
And the reason I'm saying that is because...
No, what's the Super 8?
It's a movie.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna just say it like that. I'm not getting to a lot explaining about that. It's your today's DVD.
Oh.
Okay.
See, you don't even know. We just watch it on the internet. Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, he would put mirrors up.
Yeah.
And it would show the reflection backwards. And the reason backwards is because in JKD you fight out of your strong lead, and meaning your strong lead, if you're left-handed or right-handed, whichever one, that hand faces forward. Right. Naturally, a boxer stands in what we call conventional lead, that his jab is his left hand and his power shot is his right hand, the rear hand. Mm-hmm. Okay? But in JKD, they believe in putting that strong hand forward. Mm-hmm. So we fight in really what they call a southpaw. Mm-hmm. Okay? But they don't understand, because with that jab, sometimes you come out with that jab and it's just a probe. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when you're in conventional, and if your jab is just a probe, you're probing, you're snapping. But with that second hit, you're really going in with that, and that's where your power is coming from. So that's your devastating hit. So at some point, you're going pow, pow, bam. Right. Okay. Well, we want to put that strong hand in the front and go bam from the get. And you know your hand, the trailing hand, or that straight lead coming from the back, or the cross has all that body, or the cross has all that body motion coming with it. Mm-hmm. So we know it's going to have pull. Right. Okay. So now we're coming out bam, bam instead of pop, bam. Right. Okay? Right. So that was just the whole thing behind it. So anyway, he put the mirror up to reverse it so he could mimic Ali in a left lead, because Ali stood in the right lead. Right. Okay? And so, you know, we thought that for that time was pretty innovative. You know, back in that time also, if you took a system, then that was your Bible. You know, if you were a judo man, a taekwondo man, whatever it was, that was your Bible. And you could be a karate man and I'm a taekwondo man, and we get out here and you beat me down, and I still tell you, I don't care. My system's still the best. It's still the best. Right, right. You know, and that's how it was at some point. Everybody was kind of hard-headed to the fact. But Bruce opened the door where it was like, well, why not go over to this guy over here and be able to get this or that from him? Okay? Why not be able to do that? Okay? So in that instance, that's what broke the genre of the Bible. Saying, I'm going to go over here, and this guy has a good kick, so I want that kick. Because honestly, if you're beating me down, and I'm steadily fighting you all the time, and your art is constantly beating me, then I'm doing something wrong. and I need to know what it is that you're doing to me, and I need to learn that thing. Okay, almost like you said about class when you came to class, when you said, I don't know what these guys are doing, but I need to come back and get this because you saw that difference in that.
So who you think will win then? So who won, I guess?
I try to get away with that.
Yeah, I see that. So who won? Because I'm like, so who do you think will win?
I'm going to tell you the truth. Let's put it like this. In all hands out, hands, if it's just hands, I give it to Ali.
For boxing.
For boxing.
Because that's what he does.
Exactly.
Okay.
But if you let Bruce put hands and legs in there.
And knees.
Good night.
So at 24, that's your answer. We doing boxing. Muhammad, if we're doing a full fight, dang.
but that was our reaction. What is your reaction? Yeah. What do you think about it?
Yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, you know, the rope-a-dope was very innovative at that time too, because that was new and nobody was doing that. Man,
like he said, he shocked the world.
I mean, he shocked the world. Rumble in the jungle. Okay, so we're getting ready to tap out for a quick break right here. So don't go away. We'll be tapping back in. Okay, you're listening to Tri's Martial Art Talk Radio.
It was a clear black night. What's up? This Warren G, you know what I'm saying? I'm here giving it up for Rad because they do a lot of